the emotions of the children, moving to school, the financial struggle that it'll be because of this change.
I always felt like you are so excited to move and you want to move and start over again and you don't want to do this anymore. Our move to Vegas is in a week and a half. But because the kids are in school right now, we need to wait until the semester ends.
These homes are way more than we could afford.
Hey guys, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. It's Thursday, June 10th. Every single year, in between when Sister Wives ends and when we have like the time when they're on hiatus filming the new season, we enter this stagnant area of we only know what's going on through public records or through whatever the family posts on Instagram or Facebook or wherever they are. And it's hard because not all of the wives are active on social media and Kody is always absent on social media. So Kody Brown has had this very bizarre sort of, we don't know what he does for work. He's always been very ambiguous about his job. There was discussions that he was in sales. The Browns have a history of involvement in multi-level marketing companies. And for the longest time, there's been no true understanding of what it is that Kody does for work. Some people say that he just doesn't want to have his work public. Others that I've spoken to that know the family have just said that Kody doesn't really have a job, or that Kody has never really had very steady employment. It's always been sort of bouncing around from wherever he can make the most money. And since the show started, and because it makes a lucrative income, I don't know if he actually has a job at all these days beyond filming for the show. And on the show, we never see him talking about work at all. Like, we don't ever see him talking about how he needs to go to work or he has to go to the office or he's got something he's got to do. We literally have no clue what he does beyond being on the show because he doesn't talk about it, which obviously makes people feel like he either grifts or lives off the income that his wives bring in, or he only makes money off the show. He has a company that's for like the Brown Entertainment, meaning that's probably how the family is paid by TLC. And while they had recently taken a pay cut, I do believe they had gotten an increase in pay after ratings went back up. And this last season, while ratings weren't as good as the year before, were still pretty good. So I don't know if I'll see a pay cut in the future. In the middle of all of that, Kody still has a hard time making payments and consistently misses payments on his taxes. And for whatever reason, Kody pays his taxes on his own. So some of the property that they bought when they moved to Flagstaff was they purchased 4 lots in an area outside of Flagstaff, and they call it Coyote Pass. And the property is like 26 total acres, and they have, I think they plunked down over $800,000 for that property. They have not, nothing has, like according to property records, literally nothing has started on this property. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, but he owns a house with Robyn, right? And Robyn has this, I think it's an over a $900,000 house, but Flagstaff property is pretty expensive. The home I think has like 4,000 or 5,000 square feet. So it's not like enormous. I mean, it's a large home, but it's not like some mega mansion. And historically, he is behind on his taxes. And again, today, he didn't pay his taxes on the property that's adjacent to his home in over a year. So what is going on here? Like, what is the deal? Kody has a lot of money entanglements. Jada made that a popular word, and I like to think of the Browns as completely entangled. And because of these entanglements, I don't know if he forgets to pay the taxes, but there was discussion this year on the show that Kody would be, like, he wanted to build like 7 houses or something. Like, he didn't want to start building until he could build like 7 houses. Like, I don't remember why he needed to build 7 houses, but he has 4 lots, and then he has this adjacent lot that's right next to the property that he owns with Robyn. Well, that property's taxes are completely overdue and he has not made a payment in over a year. And the son was actually the first to break the story, but I was able to confirm via property records through his county treasurer, and it looks like he actually has a lien on his property. So in 2019, he made a payment, but for 2020, he has not made a single payment on his taxes. So in 2019, he actually had an interest and fees that were due on this property, meaning he made his payments late. So in 2019, the tax on the property was $890. It included a $72 interest because of late payment and an additional fee of $51, and he made a total payment of $1,000, which brought his balance to zero. His current taxes due for 2020 are $917.78, and he has an interest payment due of $61. So he actually has a lien fee from 2019 that he owes money on, and he has a $25 fee that he owes from 2019. So he has a total lien placed on his property for $79.34 on top of the $978 that he owes for taxes. So that means that if he doesn't pay the taxes, if he doesn't pay the lien off, they can at some point take the property from him. Can you imagine losing property over a $78 lien or a $79 lien because you haven't paid your taxes? He's only owned this property since 2018. He was late last year, which got him a lien and also got him some interest. Now he's completely late for another year. So he's never paid these taxes on time. Do you think it's just that it's an oversight, that he forgets about these taxes? Do you think it's like that they really are scrambling for money, that they have to sort of like rob Peter to pay Paul? Do you think that maybe Mary, who hasn't been as connected to the family, is not contributing as much money to the family income? Do you think maybe that COVID could have played a role in their dwindling income? I wonder sometimes why it is so hard for this family to be on the up and up. Is it that they have high taste and they want to have the best cars? He does drive, I think, an Infiniti or an Audi. He has that SUV, and I think at one point had a convertible Lexus, and he has these homes that are really expensive. Does he have like caviar taste on a Busch Light budget? I don't know. It seems like they have no problem buying homes and cars or clothing and looking the part of being all fancy, but when it comes to health insurance, car insurance, paying their taxes, it's like not a priority. If you remember, Kody and his son, Peyton, got into a car accident, and because he was underinsured, I believe, had to pay like a huge amount to these women that got injured by him. And that was like over $30,000. Christine has openly talked about how it took her a long time to get her insurance for Isabel. And she admitted last summer that when Truly was really sick and she got that infection and was in the hospital, they didn't have health insurance. So health insurance and car insurance and paying taxes are low on the priority, and now Kody has a lien on the property. So ridiculous. I would love to be like his CPA and like work through his income and be like, hey Kody, maybe you just should get a job and then you wouldn't have this late payment all the time. Now somehow they always find a way to make the payments. It's always late, but could this be an indication even more that they're still struggling financially? And knowing that he can't even come up with $1,000 for his property taxes, do you really think they're going to be able to afford to build 7 homes on this property? How do you come up with over $1 million? Millions of dollars it'll cost them to build this property. How are you going to come up with millions of dollars when you literally can't even come up with $1,000 to pay your taxes? That's my question for Kody. And do you think Robyn, do you think she knows that he's behind on taxes? Because the property's also in her name too. Or do you think he just keeps her out of the loop? Well, she might know now if she checks the Sun. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.